Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pinaki Das, your host for today's webinar. Thank you for standing by and welcome to the Esri India webinar on making ArcGIS available everywhere through Esri apps. The speaker for today's webinar is Mr. Ashish Dhawan. Ashish is Senior Manager, Pre-Sales at Esri India. He has over 17 years of experience in GIS industry and has worked extensively on enterprise level GIS solutions and integration. Ashish will share details about how you can extend the ArcGIS platform to everyone through Esri ready-to-use apps. He would also cover how can you use app builders to create your own web and native apps with no or very minimal coding. For the duration of presentation, all participant line will be in listen-only mode. We have a panel of Esri India experts from other industries and technology areas are called to answer any queries you may have. We'll have the Q&A session post the presentation. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you may also send them across to the panelists using the chat window on the right-hand side of your console. So now, without further delay, I would like to now hand over the proceeding to Ashish from Esri India. Thank you, and over to you, Ashish.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to cover the details on how we can use Esri apps. This is a total series of 7 webinars, and this is the 4th series. So till now we have covered the desktop side and the server side. So today's main focus and area will be towards the Esri apps. So first, talking about the server architecture, how this server works, we know that in the traditional GIS, what we used to see was that whenever there was a use case which need to be implemented, the use cases were always defined, and based on the use cases, we always used to plan the data sets. We need to create the services, and then the apps were created around those specific use cases, and then the end users used to use it. So it means that earlier what used to actually happen was that if there were 10 use cases, we used to create at least 10 different scenarios where they used to actually work on different apps. Now going ahead, when we talk about the actual transformation of GIS, we are actually talking about the same data sets, the same web layers, the same web maps, which can be created through a centralized system, which can be created in form of the app, and the same app can be used whether it's your desktop, whether it's your mobile, or whether it's your palm top, wherever you are using. So even if there are multiple use cases, we just need to we can create a centralized system, we can have, and people can actually start using these apps through this centralized system. So how we are moving is, this is how we are moving from system of records to system of engagement. Coming to how the overall architecture of the software, if we talk about, just a quick brief on that before we actually go towards the app side. So if we see that the data is lying at the lowermost, so you can have your data sets which can be shared from within your organization, or data sets which are coming from online web services or any other content which you want to share as GIS web services, OGC web services. Then we have something called as a portal for ArcGIS, which helps you enable and create your web apps, and it also helps you create your web applications, and once those are created, it can be accessed through your desktop, web, and devices. And when we are talking about apps, we can very well, rather than earlier what we used to do was we always used to be dependent upon the developers to help us create those apps which could be used for being consumed by the users. But now what we have seen is what Esri has done is they have tried to create configurable apps. When I say configuration, it's just you need to use your data, configure it with your apps, and then it's ready to be consumed on the client. So the more focus, whether it's your web application or whether it's your desktop or mobile-based application, we can go ahead and use them. First, we always recommend to go for configuration rather than development. So today, as we told that we will be focusing more on the web apps. So these are some of the, so even when we talk about complexity and functionalities, so even we can very well start with a very simple templates which are available from Esri platform. You can configure those templates, you can create your story maps, you can create your apps, and using your web app builder or your other configurable apps, which I will be showing you. So we can use that, and slowly we can move from simple applications towards complex and applications which might be having multiple requirements and complex functionalities as well. So today, in today's one, what we are actually apps which we are going to talk about is configurable application templates, collector for ArcGIS. We are going to talk about operational dashboard. We are going to talk about Explorer for ArcGIS, ArcGIS maps for Office, Esri maps, and then using how we can use web app builder. So we have got configurable apps. We have got collector for ArcGIS. When we talk about collector for ArcGIS, it means that people who are in the field who would like to collect the data can use it. And then we have, for the management perspective, we have got something called as operational dashboards. Then we have got apps which are available directly, which can be configured especially for offices. So instead of having an ArcGIS system, you can have your own PowerPoints or SharePoint, and you can have a plugin which will be available from Esri, which can be pulled in directly into your SharePoint or web PowerPoint, and it can be then used. So the same data sets can be easily geo-located on your map, and they are ready to be consumed in your MS Office directly. The new things which have come up in the latest features from Esri is that we have updated the basic viewer, so it has got much more better navigation controls and much better UI. We have got a special time-aware series. The time-aware series helps us to configure your apps. You can put your data, if your data is available from for different months or multiple years, you can configure those apps in a way where you can attach the time also to it, and once we are ready to play it, we will be able to actually view it as a time series data on your apps. Coming to story maps, we have got story maps which are again available in form of different templates. So what we have seen is that nowadays whenever we are trying to brief within a system or within an organization, what people want is that they would like to view their GIS data in 2D or 3D, and they would also like to show their end users, their customers, in a way where they can actually create a story out of GIS and they can narrate that story in front of the users. So we have got a story map journal which has been updated. We have got story map series. We have story maps with swipe and spike class, story map tools, and story map basic. What these story maps helps is these are templates which are easily available from your web app builder. We can actually use these story maps. We can so all the templates, all the tabs are already available with you. You just need to push your data into these templates, configure your data. You need to see what attributes you want, what type of labels you want. Once that kind of, and what kind of legends you would like to see on your browser. So once you have configured all these settings, you are ready to go ahead and share this GIS data in form of story maps. So all these templates are already available with you. You just need to configure them directly using Web App Builder. Coming to Web App Builder, we had discussed the Web App Builder in our previous sessions where we had covered this in detail, where we had told that Web App Builder helps you come with many new widgets which have come out. So earlier we were talking about 30 widgets, but we have now got 40+ widgets which are available. So what are these widgets? I will be quickly glancing you through this through a small demo for this as well. So how a web app builder helps is, rather than going into the development, you can actually create a web application yourself the way you want. So there are now 40+ widgets which are available, and these are not only restrained to your 2D data, you can also create applications which are available from 3D data. So you can, for people who have the 3D data available with them, they can have a simple web scene, they can have a comparison series. Like if we are planning a smart city and we want to see that what is the new plan which we want to see on the map and what was the previous plan. So we have got comparison scenes which can be easily configured using the templates, and you can view it. And then we have a globe view. So all the data which is available with us can also be put in form of a 3D on a globe and can be visualized. So what quickly we will do is we will just try to see a small application, though we had done that earlier, but quickly for the people who are new to this apps, I will just quickly glance you through how you can actually use Web App Builder. So once, right now what I'm showing you is ArcGIS Online. Whatever features are available from ArcGIS Online are also available in Portal for ArcGIS. When I say Portal for ArcGIS, so Portal for ArcGIS is available in online as well as your in-premises. And when we talk about in-premises, so your data is very much secured within your premises, and you can push your data and create applications out of it. So the example which right now I'm going to show is using the one which through online. The features remain the same. So we can directly go to the Create tab, and we have got two options. The first option is using a template. The other option is using the Web App Builder. When I say using a template, I told that we could easily go and create simple applications using story maps, but right now what I'm going to use is a simple app demo using the Web App Builder. So this is a demo application. We need to provide the summary for this. Once we save this, we get a widget which is a wizard which is available for us to create a web application directly. So as soon as you click on that, you will get a wizard. The first option which we directly get using this widget is you can plan the look and feel of your application. So that's the first tab which is coming. It's called the theme tab. The theme tabs helps you define how your look and feel of the application should look like, where your buttons should be placed, what should be the background color, what type of layouts do you want. So based on the layouts, you can very well plan what your settings should be. Once you have done that, the second thing what we can change the background color for this application. The second thing what we can do is we need to add maps. When I say add maps, it is maps which are available from the data which is there within your organization. So that is from your content. It can be the data which is available from your organization, or data which is also available from public. When I say public, it is the data which is coming out from web services which is available globally. So whichever data I use, I can very well select that data, and I can just say, okay, once I select that data, I can very well say what should be the extent of my data when the application launches, what should my extent. Based on the extent, I can set my current extent using this button. The next thing what I would like to do is, right now what I have done is I have defined my themes. I have also defined my map. The third is what type of functionalities I want from my application. So here is the widgets which we were talking about through the presentation. Here we have got options where I was talking about we have got multiple widgets which are available with us. So if you see, we have got bookmarks, we have got charts, we have got directions, we have got query, we have got reports, and situational awareness, and geoprocessing. So there are lots of widgets which are directly available. We can directly select these widgets. As soon as we select these widgets, each widget needs to be configured for the data sets which we have. So there is if I need to select a chart, I can very well say that I want a charting component. In this charting component, the data which I have added is, I can very well say that the chart should be available from the feature class which is available on the data which I have added. So once I have configured these widgets, the next thing what I would like to do is I am ready with my application. I'm ready with my buttons. If you see, I know which tools which I would like to give to my end users. So the last thing what I would like to do is, suppose I know that the same application has to be used by multiple users. So even before deployment, Esri gives you an option where you can select the devices where you are actually going to view this data. So as I told you that the same application can be used in your web browsers, or it can be used on your mobile or tabs. So when I talk in that scenario, I would also like to see that how it's actually, what should be the look and feel for the same app in a mobile device. So I have got multiple mobile devices. I can select my mobile device. I can say how the look and feel should be, and once I say save, my application is ready to be run up and running. The final thing what I need to do is launch. When I say launch, the application is ready to be shared among the public with the data and with the widgets which we had shared on the map. So here is a quick glimpse of application which we had created using the multiple widgets. So what we have done is just in front of you, without writing a single line of code, I have tried to create a simple application which has got multiple GIS functionalities available with me, and I can very well use these functionalities and view it. So the next thing, once we have done with the widgets, the next thing which we would like to talk about is the mobile apps. Right now what we had shown you was a web app builder which helps you create a web application, which we did discuss in detail in the previous webinar. So now I'm going forward talking about other mobile apps which are going to come going ahead. So the first thing is that when we talk about field operations, we need to plan a particular operation, we need to have coordinates, we need to navigate, we need to capture the data from the field, and then there should be a monitoring system which should be available. So ArcGIS has come up with multiple free to be downloaded from your Play Store. Most of the apps are already developed and pushed on the Play Store. You can directly download them from the Play Store and they are ready to be used. So the first app which we talk about is the ArcGIS app coming from desktops. I won't be going into detail. This is the ArcGIS Pro, which we had talked about in our previous sessions. The next thing which I would like to focus today more on the workforce for ArcGIS. When I talk about workforce for ArcGIS, what does it actually mean? It is an app which is available for the people who are there in the field. When I say the people who are there in the field, you can assign a work sitting in office to the people who are there in the field. So you can define the priorities, you can define the plan, you can assign it to a particular user, and it's not only that, it can also be clubbed with other apps which are available, like you can very well configure it with a Navigator app or a collector for ArcGIS or Survey 123. How we can do that, we will again see that in a quick demo. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to workforce.arcgis.com. So you can, for the people who already have in-premises servers, they have this option where they can very well go and create their own projects. So I have got some sample projects which are already available with me. How we can work with it, how we can assign the work, we are going to see that today. So once we go to the project type, I can see that there are multiple projects which I have already with me. So what I would like to do is, maybe I would like to work on a smart city water option. So I will open, and I would like to assign a work for the people who are working on smart cities. So as soon as I click on the project, I see that we get a browser and we get multiple assignments which are already, so we already see that there are 4 assignments which are already assigned to a person. Now if I want to assign a new task, what I can do is, the first thing I would like to do is I would like to go to a location. So maybe I would like to work in Lodi Road in Delhi. So I select that operation. I will say I want the person who is there in the field to work on Lodi Road area. So I will say create assignment. As soon as I say create assignment, we get a wizard again which is available with us. I can say what type of assignment I want to give. Right now I've configured it for breakdown. I can have multiple assignment operations assigned here. The next thing which I would like to do is I would like to assign it to a particular person. So I can assign it to a person who is there within my organization. So I'm going to assign it to Ashish. The next thing is I would like to define a priority, that whether the work which is being given to this person, what is the priority for this, whether it's a low priority, medium priority or a high priority. So I want it to be a high priority work. I can define a time. I would like to finish this job by 17th today itself. What should be the time? It should be by evening, maybe 5 o'clock. And I can give an ID to it. So I can very well define these fields can be again configured, and I can say this is an urgent work to be done today. So what I'm doing is I'm sitting in my office, I'm trying to assign a particular assignment to a person who is there in the field. And I'll say create an assignment. As soon as I say create an assignment, that assignment has been created. So what I have done is I have got a mobile device available with me. I have tried to connect it with my team viewer. So I will just quickly open my team viewer. Once I open my team viewer, you will be able to see that there are lots of apps which are available for me to work on. One of the apps which is available is the Workforce app. I can go to the Workforce app. I can click on that and I can select my different projects. So I know that I'm a person who is there. Now, whatever work I'm trying to show you right now, this work is being done by a person who is there in the field. So I had assigned a work in a smart city project. So what I need to do is I will go to my projects, and if I go to my different projects which are available, I will go to my smart city project. As soon as I click on my smart city project, I see that there is an assignment which is available for me. I had given this assignment. This is a breakdown which has happened in Lodi Road. So this was just, so if you see that the person in the field has this information that he has to work on this, so it's a high priority work. So he can select the high priority work. Once he selects the high priority work, he can add he can do the work whatever he wants. So he can, as I told you that this can be configured with multiple applications. So there is an option of, you can create a survey application and the person can go to survey this assignment, or if once he has done this work, what also he can do is he can attach notes that yes, this work is done, and I will save these notes. As soon as I save these notes from the field, I can change the status from start to finish. It means I have finished with this work. Now, so this is a person who was there in the field, who has worked on the field. If a survey was required, he would have gone to the survey application, who would have done the survey, and once that work is completed, I will again see how it looks when I am there in for the person who is there in the office. So here I see that the work has been completed. The notes which I had provided, this work is done, is available with the person. So the person who is in office is able to see that the work has been completed. The symbol has changed from the from the assigned work to the finished. So the above circle which you see was the work which was assigned. This is a work which is completed. So this shows that whatever work was assigned to me has been completed by the person who is there in the field, and it has also been directly updated on your web browser. So you can very well see that again in this application, without doing a development, this was something which was available with you from Esri apps. So there was a full workforce assignment where the person had created an assignment from the browser. He had assigned a task to a person who was there in the field. The person in the field had worked on it, had completed the work and had updated it, and you are again able to see the same information back on the browsers. So this was for the workforce app. The next thing which I would like to cover is the Navigator app. So in the Navigator app, there is an option. These are again the apps which are available for the people who are there in the field. Here the navigation is more for the people who would like to plan their routes. Suppose I know that I am assigning a work to a person and he has to go and visit 10 places and he has to go and do 10 calls. So I can assign a work for the people who are there in the field, and then he gets a route planned for him on the mobile app, and then he can also have a look at what will be the shortest route for him to cover these calls. So there is a Navigator app which is available, which can again be configured, and it's ready to use directly once we download the application. So this, for this application to work, we know that since if we need to plan the shortest route, we should have the street data available with us. So the street data again also comes with Esri directly. It's just that being a street data which is already configured, it is attached with some of the premium cost which is available for the web service to be consumed. Once we add that data as a background, if the person doesn't want to use the data from coming out of Esri web services, he can configure the data himself for the road network and publish it as a web service and configure it with the same application. Once I have done that, I can very well push it to the people who are there in the field, and they can start using this app. The next app which I would like to talk about is the Collector for ArcGIS. In Collector for ArcGIS, again, this is an app which will help you go in the field, collect the data. When I say collect the data, it's totally upon you. You define what should be the attributes which should be collected from the field. So the configuration of the attributes can be defined by you. This data also helps not only collecting the data from the field, but whatever data is getting captured, you can take a photograph or upload a video, and these photographs or videos are geotagged videos or photographs. The benefit of having a geotagged photograph or video is that we very well get to know that the person who is there in the field, he can from where exact location that data was collected. So you can very well, what you can do is you can collect the data from the field, you can capture features. So it also gives you an option if you want to capture, you want to draw features, you can have a editable feature class, and you can capture the features from the field directly. And if it's a line feature class, you can attach it with your GPS device. The benefit of attaching it with a GPS device is that as soon as the person starts moving, the points start getting captured on the field. So it's almost like near real-time capturing of the person who is there in the field. You can visualize it as soon as the data is getting captured. Once you have done with Collector app, there is one more app which is available called Survey 123 app. Again, this is especially for those people who would like to do their surveys. Nowadays, we very well understand that along with the GIS, we also would like to capture lots of data which is available in form of attributes. Now, earlier to create applications to define surveys, it was a very cumbersome task where we need to take help from developers. We used to go to the developers. We used to ask them to help us create a application for us where they could define the particular collect the particular attributes from the field. So so here what we can do is we can directly go to one of the sample applications where we can define different surveys. So right now what I'm doing is, again, this survey configuration, survey 123 app configuration is available with all the people who have the servers with them. As soon as we click on and try to go for the different surveys, what we see is that there are multiple surveys which are available with me. So what I want to do right now is I want to create a new survey. So these are the earlier surveys which I had done, but now I would like to create a new survey. So I can create give a name. I can give a tag to this, and we can assign a summary. Once we say create, the user gets the option to define what kind of survey he wants by simple drag and drop features, what I'm going to show you right now. So first it's going to help you create a new survey form which can be created. So as soon as we go to the VC, hope this screen will be available with you now. So here we see that we have got multiple options where we can design a new survey. We can define what type of things we would like to do during the survey. So I know I want to capture a particular item as a text. So I will give the option for the user to add a text. The second option, I would like to have multiple drop downs. In these drop downs, I would like to give them choices. So I can very well just define what choices I want to give, and I can save it. Then I can again go and add a numeric value in this survey. The fourth thing which I would like to do is I would ask the user to say when he did the survey. So what we see is that we have got multiple options which are available with us. The benefit of these drag and drop is that when I give a person the option of using the number text, the person is only allowed to enter a number. He cannot enter any text to it. So all those validations, all those checks are already being taken care by Esri. So we are very much sure that whatever survey which we are getting from the field is accurate, the data is accurate, and once the data is accurate, I can very well start working with it. The next thing the one thing which we had added was a date. So when I say a date, the benefit of having a date time option is that once we select, go to the field, select the date, the person selects the date himself, so he gets a calendar and he gets the option to update the time as well. So this is an option which I'm showing you from, I'm trying to create a survey form and I want to use this survey form in the field. So what I would again do is, suppose I've already created a web form and now I would like to see how this survey form appears to me in a field. So again, I will go to my web application. So I go to my web application. Here I see that out of the multiple apps which were available from Esri, one of the apps which is available is Survey 123. As soon as I click on Survey 123, I can very well define which particular option I want to work on. There are multiple surveys which are available. Suppose I want to work with a lamppost survey. Here the person gets an option in the field to update the data. So he can very well say collect data. He can give, so if it's a number field, you can see that right now I'm just getting an option to give a number. So I say lamp number 56, it's presently not working. I can give some notes. So if it's a text, I can very well assign a text. I can give which location I want, which is a spot from where I have taken this survey. I can geotag it. And if I want, I have options to click a photograph or share the photograph from the mobile device. And once I say click, I can very well send the updates. So what happens is, as soon as the updates are being sent, it comes to the gets updated in your central server. Sometimes what happens is that we know that when a person is going in the field, the connectivity might be there, might not be there. So what actually happens is, when the connectivity is not there, the data gets stored in your mobile device, and as soon as the data is the network is available, all that offline data gets pushed to your central servers, and you can very well get this updated information in a real-time basis, near real-time basis on the web browser or the applications where we would like to see it. So what we have seen is, we have seen how we can actually create a survey from sitting in the office without doing a without even going into the development. I simply created those forms where the person can actually define what kind of fields he wants, and once that survey is ready, he can very well go to the mobile app which is available as Survey 123. He can download it from the Survey 123 app. He can go connect to his servers and he can download the particular form on which he would like to work. Once he works on the forms, that data gets and updates the data. That data gets updated into your central servers, and once the data gets updated, you can create reports, you can create web forms or web applications, and you can have applications where you can actually see a near real-time feed directly coming updated from these apps which are there in the field. Once we have done this, the next thing which we would like to cover is the operational dashboards. Again, now what we had done till now was, we had tried to see the different type of applications which were available for the people who were there in the field. But now, coming back to our office, whatever data is getting updated, we would also like to see that I would like to have different dashboards available for me. So what Esri has done is, I will again go to a sample application of operation dashboard which is available with us. I've already created one of the dashboards. Here I want to say that I want to add a widget. So again, what I'm trying to show you is that we have got widgets which are available where again there is no need of customization, whether it's your app or whether it's your operation dashboard. I just need to configure it with the datasets which I already have within the organization. So I can define how once I have collected my data from the field or the data which is available within the organization as base maps, I can add that data. I can say that I want to have a bar chart for this. Once I say bar chart, I can very well define which type of feature class I would like to work on. And once I have defined the feature class, I can give a title. To this, I can define the fields. I can say which field I would like to view. So there's simple drop downs which are available with me. I can define what should be there on the x-axis, what should be there on my y-axis, what type of colors I would like to work, whether I like to show labels or not. And last but not the least, we have got something called as feature actions. Now, what are these feature actions? You would have seen systems which are available in the market where you can just create simple dashboards, but right now what Esri is offering is it's giving you an option to create dashboards which are dynamic in nature. When I say dynamic, it means that whatever work I'm trying to do on these widgets, the bar chart or the whatever charts I've created, I can very well say that on the click of that particular bar chart, whether that particular feature should be highlighted, whether I would like to zoom to that particular location. So there are all these are, again, everything is configurable. Again, here you don't need to do any customization. It's simple configuration as you have defined events also with it. And once I've defined events, I can have simple charts which are available with me. Like right now what we are showing you is total number of accidents which are there. So what we have done is that we, in the Delhi area, this is a demo data which we are trying to represent on the map. So we are trying to see how many accidents had occurred in 2012, 13, 14 and 15. Out of this, if I try to create the percentage of it, I can very well see the percentage and percentage per lakh. So the lower section gives me the per lakh option. So I've got these multiple charts which are available. I can very well see when there is an accident which has happened because of two-wheelers, accidents which have happened because of a four-wheeler. So the dashboard which you are seeing right now, these are one more thing which I would also like to show you is that the dynamic option. When I say dynamic, it means I'm trying, rather than working on the full data sets, I'm trying to select a particular area, and whatever area I have selected, the data will be highlighted. The charts get updated related to that. So the charts are actually not, so whatever data I would like to concentrate maybe on eastern part of Delhi. So I've selected that data, and only those charts get updated on my left hand side, and I get the information related to that. So I'm sure such type of configurations are really helpful for people who would really like to work with apps which are simple to use, easily configurable. So once we have done this operation dashboard demo, we would again go back to our presentation. So the next thing which I would like to discuss is on App Studio, what App Studio is. So App Studio gives you an option to create apps. Right now what we had shown was the apps which are already available for the people who would directly start to work on GIS systems from the very first day. But for the people who would really need to create some specific use cases for their people who are there in the field, Esri has given an option where they can work on App Studio. So if they want to create apps themselves from the scratch, they can create those apps. The best part is that it's a single place where you can define your code, you can write your code, and it can be deployed on the device where you want. The same app can be deployed on a iOS, Android, Linux, or a Windows system. So you're not doing multiple developments for multiple OS. So here, different type of options which are available is App Studio Basic, Standard, and Runtime. So in Basic and Standard, we have got options which are again like we had got widgets available. So we have got widgets which are available in App Studio where you can simply drag and drop and create a widget. Like if I want to have maybe a navigation option in my toolbar of a app, of a mobile app, I just need to do a simple drag and drop and that app is ready to be used. But if a person who would like to create an application from the scratch for a mobile application, he can very well use ArcGIS Runtime SDKs. Once he has done that, so there is a single installation. It's a desktop application or a mobile application, and then there are some samples and templates which are available as source code as well. So the application which we are using for this is QML. The benefit of having a QML is that it can be deployed on multiple OS. And you can use JavaScript, JSON, plus CSS information. The last app which I would like to discuss is the Drone to Map app, which is available from ArcGIS. In Drone to Map, you can work with data for data which is being collected from the field using drone devices. You can collect that data in form of point clouds, or you can take orthomosaic images, or there can be images which are being clicked by drone. They can be consumed, and we can create and view that data in your ArcGIS applications. So they are so the Drone to Map app helps you mosaic these. You can create image services, you can create tile services if the data is large, or you can also create DSMs out of it. A small So that was from our side, from from what is available from ArcGIS, from apps. So if we have any queries, we can very well take those queries.
Pinaki, can you check if there are any questions online?
Sure, sir. So participants, this does conclude our presentation part, and we are on the verge of having the Q&A. So if you have any queries or any questions, you can always post over the chat, or you can press 0 and 1 on your telephone keypad if you have joined the audio bridge, and we'll open your line for further communication. You need to press 0 and 1 on your telephone keypad to show your presence. Simultaneously, you can also type in your message or the queries over the chat by selecting host and presenter from the drop-down box and then post your message. Our speaker would love to take all these queries and will address it accordingly. So we have one query from Ms. Lakshmi. We have opened her line. She can go ahead. Lakshmi, you can go ahead. Lakshmi, if you are there with us, your line is unmuted.
Hi, this is Lakshmi. Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are audible. You can please go ahead.
Thank
Go ahead.
yeah, my first question is like, is workforce a separate extension or by default comes with ArcGIS 10.5?
So these apps which we are talking about, once you take ArcGIS server, it comes along with this ArcGIS server. So these you don't need to, there is no extra cost for this. These are simply downloadable ones. You just need to download these apps and configure it with your organization account.
Okay. Is it with standard or advanced version?
It's available with both versions.
Okay, fine. And one more thing is, are there any apps or API which supports for different kinds of analysis like infrastructure planning or like disaster management or emergency? Any apps or?
These apps which we have prepared are more generalized ones to ensure that people can, work on different kind of scenarios. So there's no specific ones for any specific industry. But what we have done is that we can always go ahead and use the App Studio to create such kind of application and such kind of use cases. So App Studio will actually help you. So if there are some specific use cases which are already implemented by us, they are available to you within App Studio using a drag and drop option. Like suppose for a particular industry, if I want to plan a navigation from start point to end point, I can very well use that widget, and then I can go on extending that particular application for a particular industry.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
And one more thing is like there was an ArcPad also in Esri available very long back. Can we replace this ArcPad with a collector for ArcGIS?
Yeah, so that's what the intention of Esri was, that ArcPad has been more of an obsolete right now, and we can very well go ahead and use these apps instead of that.
Okay.
Please can you take questions?
Yeah, so there is other questions also which are available. One of the questions which is available is, is it possible to capture data on Arc Collector? So yes, there is option by which you can capture the data using Arc Collector. Another question from Vishnu was, can we add data to drop down from map services in survey 123? So yes, we can very well do that. We can add data using the data which is available from map services into the drop down, and we can push it on the web and create apps from that. Another question which is available from Avinash is, can we integrate workforce with EAM? So yes, there are options and APIs available. So yes, there are APIs available with us which can help you integrate your asset management with workforce, and that's what the intention of Esri was, so that people who are there in the field can actually get their updates directly. So you can very well do that. Another question from Manoj was that how can we use operational dashboard? Do we need to buy licenses? So no, you don't need to buy any extra licenses. Operational dashboard is again directly available for you from the web. You can, all those organizations who already have their ArcGIS servers with them, they can very well go and download operational dashboard. It is available in two options. One is you can have a desktop option where you can, the one which I had shown you in the demo was the desktop option where you can have a thick client. But if the persons want to have a thin client where they don't want to have a separate installation at the desktop, they can very well go ahead and use this, view this application on a browser itself. Another question from Shushmita was, we want to know and learn more about web app builder and its applications used in electric utility sector. So, Sushmita, there are lots of tutorials, resources which are available from ESRI. You can very well go ahead and use those resources from ESRI and use it, and especially for the electrical utility sector also, you would see that there you can also go and check the YouTube. So there are some demos and places in YouTube where you can, if you put your keywords, you will be able to see those particular YouTube videos which will help you work on this particular sector. And as I told, ESRI also comes with a resource center, so you can very well go to the ESRI resources and also get more information into this. One question from Shiva was that offline edits can be performed using Workforce for ArcGIS. So yes, as I told you during my presentation, I had already told that all these apps which are available can be worked in an offline mode. So if because we very well know that the people who are there in the field, the network connectivity is not too good, especially people who work deep inside the forest as well. So for them, people can collect the data, geotag that information in the forest, and as soon as they come back into the network connectivity, that data is available for them updated on the central servers. So I think so we have tried to cover most of the questions. If there are some questions which are still left unanswered, you are always free to send your queries to info@esriindia.com. So request you to send all your queries to info@esriindia.com, and you will be we'll make sure that all your queries get answered there.
Thank you very much. Over to Pinaki.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And this does conclude the session for today. All the participants who have participated on this session, thank you for all your participation. You